I'll always remember Coach Saban out-coached in this game.
Yeah, and there's no question about that. But specifically what happened in the game was interesting in breaking down the tape, because you had Clemson defensively, first of all, did a great job of masking their pressures and coverages. Tua was completely fooled the entire night. He didn't know where to go with the hot read. He was making decisions based purely on pre-snap. Brent was giving him different looks pre versus post-snap. That led to the first move, obviously the hot read, the pick six, so you're down 7 there. And then you get in the red zone. They brought some different looking exotic pressures in the run pressures, run blitzes. It caused a lot of problems there. It kind of set them back. So they're all of a sudden you get in the red zone, should be scoring 7, you get 3, and then you get into 3rd and long, 4th and long. I thought Clemson brought the pressure for 4 quarters. They've got a great defensive line. I thought they played well. I thought the backers played well. The pressure created the problems. In coverage, they were physical. They jump routes, but it was all about the pressure up front. On the other side of the ball, Alabama, they were not able to pick up and make the adjustments, and they were not able to find the hot read. They were able to run the football, but they did it in spurts. And then there is a lot of unforced errors by from their offensive philosophical approach. Then there are a lot of misreads in it. I thought that the running game was going well for stretches, and then I thought Clemson made adjustments, and Alabama was a little slow to it. And Alabama's offense, their passing game, their explosiveness is built on their success with the running game. And while they were having some success running it, it wasn't sustained enough. And then when they got behind, then it took them out of their element. Now, on the reverse side, Clemson offensively did a great job. They didn't run the football very well except for stretches. They threw the football, and they dominated, did Clemson, on 3rd downs on both sides. We just talked about why Clemson was able to get off the field defensively with their pressure. Alabama could generate no base pressure on Clemson. Clemson blocked them all night. Clemson was able to make those 3rd and long plays. Trevor Lawrence is outstanding. Ross was outstanding, an Alabama kid that was going to Alabama before he decommitted and went to Clemson. Why did that take place? Well, those 2 guys, as well as the other receivers, made plays, but it was the protection. They had a lot of time to make plays, and Alabama's defense was on the field too much. One of the things I've talked about with Alabama all year long, even into last year's championship game against Georgia, when Alabama goes with this tempo offense and this newfangled Tua, throw it, and we're on the field a bunch, their defense is not as good. Yes, they're talented on defense as Alabama, but they're on the field way too many snaps. I thought they were gassed for stretches against Oklahoma, and that's how Oklahoma brought it down to a 28-point game to an 11 and 18. Well, it didn't threaten the outcome, so no one pays attention to it, but you could see it there. Well, against Clemson, you're playing a much more talented team, a team that did not dig themselves a hole, a team, in fact, that played a clean game, unlike Alabama, got into an early lead, and then therefore Alabama's now getting gas. Well, they can't get a pass rush, and they couldn't cover. I thought the depth of Alabama's secondary was exposed. They lost a lot of guys recently in the draft, we know that. They recruit very well, no doubt, but they didn't have the depth. And Savion Smith, who LSU fans will be familiar with, just did not match up very well against Ross or anybody, quite frankly. So when you can't rush the passer and you can't cover well, it gets exposed against great, talented receivers and a quarterback that was making ridiculous throws. Those things don't manifest itself as much when you're playing a team that can't score a lot offensively. No disrespect, but when LSU's trying to make those plays, it's not working.
Right.
Because they're not as good. They don't have that type of quarterback. They don't have those type of, it's a different ball game. It gets exposed at the highest level. Alabama's been able to run through it, but against Georgia, they struggled some. Against Clemson, Clemson found a way to finish, and because they made pivotal plays and they had a quarterback as a freshman that played nothing like a freshman.
Look, give Clemson plenty of credit. They made the plays. They did. And I thought Alabama was sloppy, so you can't put it all on the coaching staff. However, at the end of the day, on offense for Alabama, I felt like they didn't get it to 2 of their 3 best playmakers consistently. Irv Smith Jr., who's going to guard that big fella out there? I mean, an amazing tight end. We saw that in Tiger Stadium this year. And by the way, they didn't get it to Jacobs. And then they start running stretch runs where you can't run side to side against Clemson. You got to run straight at. I didn't understand how they got away from their commitment to the running game. Breakdown. I mean, it just seemed like a complete failure on the coaching side of things for Alabama.
Well,
and I've never seen that before.
I think that there's no question that preparing for the game and then making the adjustments in the game. Football coaching, game day, game week is about adjustments. It's about adjusting to what they're doing. Having a game plan of what you think they're going to do, but having built-in pockets of adjustments to be able to adjust to their adjustment. And Alabama never did it. Never did it well. I thought they got the ball early on in the passing game, got it to Irv, but Clemson made some really good adjustments defensively with their coverage and with their pressures. And Tua just wasn't as sharp finding that guy, and he didn't have as much time. And therefore, you're not getting the ball in the hands of the playmakers. The best made plans and the best made designs are not there when you're not able to see it. I thought, again, most of the year, in fact, getting ready when they played LSU, I know Dave Aranda felt like Tua, and most coaches did. Tua made his decision where he was going with the football pre-snap. And I think you saw that again here. What Clemson did, by the way, let's remind folks, in a short week, I mean 9 days, but this wasn't the 30-day preparation. They put together a game plan that I think they put some of this in the Notre Dame week to get prepared to show different looks pre-snap versus post-snap. That's coaching. Clemson definitely outcoached them, put them in better position. Tua could make those adjustments to find those open guys. And then I think, again, when Alabama is a drop-back team and they're having to play chase, like they got to keep up with points, that's not their strength.
Right.
People thought it was their strength because they dominated people all year long. But their strength is still running the football, making you overplay the run, move the safeties, then attack. They never could do that well enough. Clemson did a really good job playing deep, rallying to the football against the run, and having enough guys in coverage with the pressure to cause a whole lot of problems for Alabama, and they could not adjust to it. And as you mentioned, Alabama made the mistakes too. I mean, you go in first half, they're basically doubling Clemson's yard total, but missed extra point. You get a field goal instead of a touchdown.
Penalties in the red zone. Yeah.
You know, pick six. So now you're talking about 8 points right there that you just basically you just frittered away because you just didn't do a very good job of that. Well, you can't do that against Clemson. You do that against, no disrespect to Missouri or Vanderbilt or Ole Miss. You find a way to come back. Yep. You dig yourselves a hole, and I think they started to press a little bit, and maybe I thought at times they were a little too cute in the red zone, and they just went backwards, and I thought Clemson got a lot of momentum, and they put the beat down on them. And you think about it, it's the largest deficit for Alabama under Nick Saban, and the largest deficit since then by Alabama was 16 points. And that was when LSU beat them when they were coached by Saban. So it's been a long, long time since Alabama took a beat down this bad. Certainly not, it hasn't happened under Saban.